Here's the strange part nobody tells you. When someone much younger becomes obsessed with you, it's usually not random, and it's definitely not just about looks. Most guys miss the real signals because they assume attraction is simple. It isn't. Sometimes the age gap is exactly what creates the tension. Not despite it, because of it. And once you see the psychology behind this, a lot of confusing behavior starts making uncomfortable sense. You've probably been in a situation like this. Someone younger keeps finding reasons to be around you, laughs a little too hard, watches you when you're not looking, replies fast but then pretends to be casual. In public, they act controlled. In private, the energy shifts. The texts get warmer. The questions get more personal. Their tone softens. Their breathing changes when you're close. Did you notice that? That difference between how they perform calm and how they leak interest when the room gets smaller? The first hidden reason is emotional contrast. Younger people are often surrounded by noise. Fast attention, shallow validation, people trying too hard, talking too much, proving everything. Then you show up with composure, restraint, a kind of emotional gravity. You don't react like everyone else. You don't chase. You don't spill your whole life in 5 minutes. That alone can hit them like a drug. Not because you're older, but because you feel rare. Calm becomes magnetic when someone's used to chaos. And here's what's fascinating. They may not even realize that's what's pulling them in. They just know they feel different around you. Safer? Maybe. More seen. Slightly nervous. That combination is potent, and it gets deeper. Sometimes they start testing you in subtle ways. A playful jab, a slightly risky joke, a delayed reply after a very engaged conversation. They're not always playing games in the cartoonish sense. Often they're checking whether your attention is real or cheap, whether your steadiness holds. If you stay grounded, the obsession can intensify because now you're not just attractive. You're psychologically stable in a world that rarely is. The second reason is identity projection, and this one is almost never discussed properly. Sometimes a younger person isn't just attracted to you, they're attracted to what you represent in their own future. Think about that for a moment. Around you, they can glimpse a more developed version of life, more confidence, better boundaries, less confusion, maybe even a kind of earned edge. You become a living symbol of where they want to go. That creates a weird emotional fusion where attraction and aspiration blend together. So now they're not just drawn to your face or your voice, they're drawn to your existence, your rhythm, the way you enter a room without asking permission from it. This is why they might study you more than they flirt with you. They remember specific phrases you said weeks ago. They mirror your language. They ask oddly revealing questions at random moments, not always because they're smooth, sometimes because they're trying to understand the source code. Secretly, they're thinking, what is it about this person that makes me feel this much? The third reason is forbidden emotional intensity. And yes, this is where things become more charged. Age gaps create contrast, and contrast creates tension. Tension, handled badly, becomes chaos. Handled consciously, it becomes obsession fuel. There's a built-in sense of risk, and the human brain has a bad habit of confusing emotional activation with destiny. So if they feel excited, nervous, curious, slightly guilty, deeply pulled in, all at once, the bond can feel bigger than it is. That's why someone younger may seem almost irrationally fixated. They aren't just experiencing attraction, they're experiencing amplified attraction through psychological friction. Maybe you notice something odd. In person, they go quiet around you, almost careful, but later, over text, they become bold, more revealing, more teasing, more direct. That split matters. In person, your presence activates their self-consciousness. Over text, distance gives them courage. So if someone younger seems emotionally inconsistent, don't be too quick to label it confusion. Sometimes it's simply overload. The fourth hidden reason is selective validation. This one is brutal because it works precisely when you're not trying to make it work. If a younger person is used to easy attention, your selectiveness hits differently. Not coldness, not arrogance, selectiveness. You don't hand out approval like candy. So when you notice something specific about them, when you actually listen, when your compliment lands with precision instead of desperation, it has disproportionate impact. They replay it. They attach meaning to it. One sentence from you can outweigh 10 shallow compliments from people their own age. This is also why little details become obsession patterns. The way you say their name, the slight pause before you answer, the eye contact that lasts just a beat longer than expected. Most people underestimate how much obsession grows from fragments. Not grand gestures. Fragments. A look. A tonal shift. A private joke that feels too intimate for how innocent it technically was. Comment if you've seen that happen, because once you notice it, it's everywhere. Now here's the fifth reason, and it's the one that changes how you see all the others. Sometimes they're obsessed because you don't need them to be. That's the paradox. Neediness repels. Self-possession pulls. When someone senses that you have a full internal world, that your mood isn't dangling from their replies, that you can enjoy them without collapsing into them, they feel both challenged and drawn in. Not because you're playing hard to get, because your center of gravity is intact. For someone younger, especially if they're still figuring themselves out, that can feel intoxicating. But there's an important distinction here. Real maturity isn't using that effect carelessly, it's recognizing it, respecting it, understanding that obsession is not the same as compatibility, and intensity is not proof of depth. That's where most people get sloppy. They confuse being deeply wanted with being deeply understood. Those are not the same thing, not even close. So if someone much younger seems fixated on you, look beyond the obvious. It may be your calm in their chaos, your life energy as a projection target, the emotional friction of contrast, the rarity of your validation, or the fact that your self-control makes their emotions louder. Most guys miss these hidden signals because they only look at behavior, not the psychology underneath it. But behavior is the smoke, psychology is the fire, and once you start seeing the fire, everything changes. The lingering eye contact, the oddly timed texts, the private warmth after public distance, the way they act unaffected while quietly orbiting you. None of it feels random anymore. Once you notice these patterns in real life, you'll never see human behavior the same way again. Subscribe for more insights.